Just the name Rocky Balboa rings up images of Stallone in the boxing ring. One of Hollywood's most iconic movie franchises is now parting ways with the man who brought it to life. Stallone has finally opened up about why he won't be appearing in Creed 3. But is it a bad thing? Michael B. Jordan has also spoken about how personal the story is to him. Let's take a closer look at this story. First up, this is the first Rocky franchise movie without Sylvester Stallone. Creed 3 is going to be the first Rocky movie without Stallone in a starring role. He originated the franchise back in 1976. It was written by him too, and that is where we first met the club fighter who got a chance to fight in the World Heavyweight Championship against Apollo Creed, played by Carl Weathers. The original had a budget of under $1 million, but proved to be a massive hit. It spawned multiple sequels and a boxing franchise that's still going strong, and even though the Italian Stallion won't be starring as Rocky in Creed 3, he will remain involved in the franchise as a producer. He is also privy to the sequel's script written by Zach Balan and Keenan Coogler. Speaking about this story, he said that it was really interesting, but also that it's really different from the rest of the series. For starters, Adonis is going to have to find a new mentor, or just do without one, as Rocky exits the plot. For the record, this is the 9th movie in the Rocky universe, and the 3rd for its Creed spin-off. And even though Stallone will remain involved, there are some disagreements between him and the rest of the team about the direction of the movie. Up next, Stallone opened up about why he won't be in the movie. Even though he's the one who really started it all, it seems that there are creative differences. Rather than continue with the sentimental feel of the previous films, which was present in both the Rocky and Creed series, the latest movie will travel to a much darker place. Stallone admitted that he was a sentimentalist, and this kind of thing just wasn't for him. The legendary action star went on to say that it was a regretful situation because he knew the kind of potential the story still had, but it was taken in a direction that was very different from what he would have taken it. He admitted that Irwin Winkler's and Michael B. Jordan's philosophy was very different from his. Winkler is the producer of the Rocky series. Stallone also said that there was already too much darkness in the world, and he didn't want this movie peddling the same narrative, so he stepped away from the project. But there's no denying that it's going to be a difficult change to work with. That said, this also opens up the potential for a new creative direction for the series. The film will focus exclusively on Adonis, Apollo Creed's son, and the past that has returned to haunt him. Not to mention that time in the summer when Stallone took a swing at the franchise's producer. It seems that it wasn't just creative differences that led to the breakup. There's a bigger conflict between Stallone and Winkler. Back in July last year, the action star took some strong jabs at Winkler and his son, David Winkler, who is also a producer on the Creed movies. He took to Instagram to do a little book review of David's memoir, calling it unbearable and worthless, calling the author painfully untalented. Oh, and it's the worst book Stallone has ever read. The Rambo star also called the older Winkler the remarkably untalented and parasitical producer of Rocky and Creed. Now, that's a punch. Apparently, there could have been another 3 Rocky movies if it wasn't for Winkler. He went so far as to say that the crew was the worst people he had met in the industry. But he did say that he had nothing but love for the loyal Rocky fans, as well as Robert Chardoff, who also produced the Rocky franchise and was a producer on the first Creed film before he died in 2015. Let's look at what triggered this outburst against the Winklers. The day after, Stallone wrote a follow-up post explaining that he is pretty upset about an ownership dispute related to the franchise. He said that he wanted his rights to the franchise back before Winkler passed everything on to his son. He admitted that the issue caused him considerable anguish and that it was eating away at him. Stallone went on to say that he wanted to leave some part of the Rocky legacy to his children. Released in 1976, Rocky won 3 Oscars, including Best Picture. Stallone was even nominated for Best Actor for his title role as Rocky Balboa. Besides that, he also got a nomination for writing the screenplay. Stallone was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor for reprising his role as Rocky in the 2015 spin-off film Creed. Irwin Winkler and Chardoff are credited as the producers of the first 5 Rocky films. Rocky Balboa, the 2006 film that revived the franchise, has 6 producers, including David Winkler and his brother Charles. Stallone is credited as producer on all of the Creed films. films, including the upcoming Creed 3, in the same way that the Winklers are. Coming up, the new feel for the movie might actually be a good idea. While the situation between Stallone and the Winklers sounds pretty ugly, let's not pick sides and look at how this new direction might actually be better for the movie. It's fair to say that the change in tone from the previous Rocky movies will be a big move, but hear us out. It just may be what the series needs. So far, all of the previous 8 movies have basically followed the original formula and have played into the whole sentimental value thing. And while that's great, more complex, mature themes being explored isn't a bad idea. Adonis does have a troubled past, and it could play into the plot of the movie, probably making it more believable and realistic. Besides that, the fact that Rocky is actually leaving the story means that Adonis is now on his own, and he may stray every now and then. He was first introduced into the franchise as a troubled kid, and this updated, darker storyline could be truer to his story arc. To be honest, Ryan Coogler's Creed did an incredible job at reimagining the Rocky series in such a way that it is true to the original, but still subversive in its own way. Meanwhile, it may finally give Creed the chance to move out of Rocky's shadow. Adonis Creed's journey as the underdog definitely draws inspiration from the parent franchise. While Rocky's legacy is unmistakable, Stallone's exit from the upcoming movie could allow Jordan's series to finally come into its own. Creed 2 heavily references Rocky 4 and portrays how both Rocky and Adonis carry the weight of Apollo's untimely demise. While the stories of both characters are crucial to the film, it becomes evident that Rocky is slowly easing his grip, while Adonis is digging deeper into the hearts of the audience. The shift in focus from the Italian Stallion's catharsis to Donnie's moral victory against Ivan Drago sets up a solid base for the Creed franchise. It also allows Rocky to finally let go of his past mistakes and pass the torch of his legacy to Adonis Creed. Adonis's win against Drago resolves the major loose threads that connected Creed with the Rocky franchise. It would now make a lot of sense for Creed 3 to move forward without Rocky. Even from a narrative standpoint, Stallone's return would unnecessarily stretch his part in the series and continue to make the storyline repeat Rocky's story beats. Rocky Balboa's storyline in Creed is heavily affected by his guilt of not throwing in the towel before Apollo lost his life to Drago's fatal blows in Rocky 4. Adonis's win against Drago's son in Creed 2 frees Rocky of that guilt and closes that arc. Up next, will the movie actually kill off Rocky Balboa? With Rocky Balboa not appearing in Creed 3, audiences have started wondering whether Rocky will be killed off. Frankly, we don't think that's a possibility. A character as big as Rocky couldn't possibly be killed off screen. For starters, it would be extremely disrespectful to both the character and Sylvester Stallone. Some would argue that the protagonist mentor's tragic passing in the third film of the series would create a parallel between Rocky Balboa and Mickey's death. To be honest, Rocky already has an ending that fits perfectly with his character. Rocky really represented the best of humanity, and reuniting with his son was the perfect way to give him that happy ending. The first 2 Creed movies basically serve as stepping stones for Rocky to find new greatness outside the boxing ring, but his return in Creed 3 might actually undermine his role as a paternal figure in Donnie's life, and it will continue to seem like the movie is trying to copy those classic motifs from Rocky instead of being its own distinct story. Finally, Michael B. Jordan drew on his personal experience for the movie. Speaking about the story, the star said that he was nervous because the experience that he was trying to convey in the story was very similar to his personal experience. He even said that people who were close to him also knew that. So when he was working with the writers on developing the story, he was afraid that it was too close to home. But he kept quiet about exactly what these personal experiences were. But given how important it is to the movie, he probably didn't want to give any spoilers. From the trailer, we know that the movie will focus on trauma from his past and his personal development too. Whatever that personal experience may be, it looks like Creed 3 is going to be very different from the rest of the series. Maybe that's why Jordan opted to go so personal with this entry. The movie will also be his directorial debut, so it's clearly a Michael B. Jordan show all the way. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think of Stallone leaving the Rocky universe? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.